Words, not weapons. That's the fundamental idea at the heart of the UN. Humanity can only survive. Humanity can only thrive through cooperation, not conflict. And that's why the UN exists. The General Assembly is like the Super Bowl of global diplomacy. It is the only time that almost every world leader gathers in the same place. But there is so much that goes on behind the scenes. They convert the halls of the building. They put up temporary meeting spaces. It's like global diplomacy speed dating. World leaders come in, they talk to each other for a few minutes, they do brush pasts in the corridor, they get to know each other, they exchange ideas, they talk through their differences. And that's where deals can be done and negotiations can be happened and progress can be agreed. We should not be naive. We live in difficult times. Have we solved every problem in the world through the UN? Goodness, no. When we see so much destruction all over the world, it can be hard, almost counterintuitive, to think that, oh, there are peace agreements being negotiated. But peace is being negotiated in conflicts all over the world. Ceasefires are being negotiated. Grain shipments leaving Ukraine. That was something that countries came together through the UN and its processes to be able to negotiate, to make happen. That was essential. Millions of lives have been saved as a result of peace agreements reached through the UN in countries all over the world, like Namibia, Mozambique, Cambodia, El Salvador, Liberia, Guatemala, Cote d'Ivoire, many places. And peace is a prerequisite for progress. People can't begin to rebuild their lives, they can't build new lives unless there's peace and stability on the ground. If we look through history as well, yes, it may seem that we live in violent times, and in many places, yes, we do, but there are fewer global conflicts than there ever were. It can be hard to accept that sometimes, but we used to live in much worse times. Progress takes time, and yeah, there are a lot of conferences, a lot of meetings, a lot of reports, and you can look at those and think, wow, what is taking so long? Why is this taking so long? But that's how you reach agreement. You have to hear all viewpoints. No one ever said that fixing the world was going to be easy. It's not. It's really hard. And that takes time, and it takes brilliant people, and it takes a lot of effort, and it takes cooperation. Through the UN, the world has actually achieved so much. It's galvanized nations of the world around the collective promise of the Sustainable Development Goals. And a really good example is the Paris Climate Agreement. Just reaching consensus and reaching agreement with every country in the world. There is a framework now. There is something that we can build on and that we can aim towards. The General Assembly does not have the power to enforce its decisions. But what it does have is moral authority, every country of the world represented there, and it has weight in numbers. So small countries can have their voices heard alongside powerful, big, rich countries, and groupings of countries, coalitions of countries can come together and they can really be a powerful voice and a powerful voice for change. So much of the work of the UN is not represented by the images of leaders in meetings and the General Assembly. Every day, the UN all around the world is hard at work, delivering help and hope to millions and millions of people, whether it's food delivery for millions of people through the World Food Programme, whether it's helping children, bolstering and providing education through organizations like UNICEF, whether it's helping refugees through the UN's Refugee Agency, UNHCR. Every issue that you care about, some part of the UN is focusing on it. And the UN General Assembly is a way of reminding us all that this work is going on 365 days a year, not just that week when we see world leaders meeting in New York.